What's happening, sports fans? We welcome you to the second playoff edition of the CIF San Diego Section's official podcast. I am Christian Pedersen. I'm joined by Tommy Morris, my co-host, and we are, as always, joined by Bodie DeSilva from Scorebook Live. Scorebook Live, the official digital content provider of all things high school sports across the entire universe. They've got the articles, the photos, the top 10. Bodie literally got a poll last year. They got like 1 million clicks type thing. Like they got everything you could possibly want there. Download the SB Live Sports app. You can visit scorebooklive.com. We should also, before we go any further in today's show, say thank you to the U.S. Army for their continued support of San Diego Prep Insider. Let's check out everything they're up to. All right, thanks, U.S. Army. On to Division One. Tommy has swapped out for a new mic that I hope works because we got some fun football to talk about. The first one being number 1 Mission Hills playing host to number 9 Saints. They got the upset. I don't know entirely what to make of Saints, but Gladnick's doing the coaching job. He's turning them around. They are getting, but we're seeing this happen in real time and not necessarily taking off season of doing it all. They're here. Mission Hills is certainly going to be a tough test, but this feels like they're playing with house money at this point in terms of just, how much, whether or not this season was a success. Bodie DeSilva, though, let's start with you. Your thoughts, Saints, Mission Hills.
Yeah, this one from last week, at least, it wasn't a huge surprise for me for Saints. I know they're young, but they're certainly talented. I saw them. They were beating a Helix team for 3 quarters earlier in the year. I think this is a much bigger challenge this week, and I think Saints will hang around for a half, but ultimately Mission Hills, so big, talented, experienced. I think at home they'll be able to take this one in, but it's certainly a huge experience for Saints. When I saw them against Helix, they were starting 17 freshmen and sophomores, so big experience for those kids, but I do like Mission Hills to advance in this round.
As I come back into my Zoom window, he's back. I was going to say, Tommy disappeared on me, but
that legitimately happened on its own. I swear that one happened. I did not do that. That happened on its own.
Man. Tommy Morris, the truest of follower throwers on bits in terms of show history. Tommy was always nailing it.
I did not.
It's the conviction with which he denies it that lets you know
anyway,
he really knows what he's doing. Tommy, your thoughts, Mission Hills Saints?
Yeah, I mean, before I cut out, you were saying, that what we've seen out of Saints, and generally with these younger teams, you see them improve a lot over the course of the year because there is the nervousness of being a freshman. A lot of freshmen are playing for Saints and sophomores, and now that they've gotten older, they've really matured a lot. So this is a much better team now than they were 10 weeks ago. And I know everybody's like that, but again, the growth rate is exponential here when you have this many young kids. They ran for 181 yards last week versus Eastlake, very impressive. As badly as I want to pick an upset just to rile up the people, I'm not going to do it. I'll take Mission Hills here, but I think Saints makes this a ball game.
Number 4 Helix is taking on number 5 El Camino, who got a 35-6 win against Scripps Ranch. El Camino, battle tested. They've always been there, kind of hanging around this season with that top-ish kind of conversation. Helix has lost a couple of confusing ones and a couple of close ones. What are we going to get here? This feels like this could be a big litmus test for if Helix wins convincingly enough, they should be on a path to get to that finals. If not, this could be an El Camino Mission Hills rematch that could be potentially happening next round. What do you say here, Tommy Morris? Your thoughts?
I like El Camino. They're always a team that people kind of forget about because they're up in Oceanside and they're not Oceanside. Granted, Oceanside had a tough year this year, but El Camino, Quentin Johnson at defensive end, Braden French at middle linebacker. This is a good defense. These are some tough physical kids. It just feels like an El Camino victory to me. So I like El Camino. I like it low scoring.
Bodie DeSilva from Scorebook Live, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is one of the best games of the week. This is where I will be on Friday. And I did have Helix advancing to the championship in this division, so I got to stick with them here. But I've seen El Camino earlier this year. I know they've got it. I think especially defense, they will bring a challenge for Helix to find ways to score. Although Helix has guys, Kevin Allen has had a huge year as a junior. They're stepping up. So I will pick Helix mainly just because I have them going later on. But this will be a fun one to see on Friday.
a good old pick out of bare necessity. On the other side of the bracket, you've got LCC, the number 6 seed, who got a 41-14 win against Steel Canyon. LCC, really good. They're just a good team. They are a top 10 team through and through. So it would stand to reason that they're going to be competitive in this game against Mater Dei Catholic, who at the number 3 seed had the bye in the first round. Mater Dei Catholic, this is, I suppose, what the formula was. Get up from D3 to D1 and just trial by combat, figure it out, and hope to get, at the very worst case, a home seeded run throughout the Division I playoffs. And that's where they're at now. They lost some of the big games early on in the season, but then since have looked convincing and have looked strong. And you would hope that this has now equaled them out to where they are at the right amount of talent for a team that's kind of on an experimental jump that no one else has really done in the modernish era of CIF San Diego high school sports. So mad respect to them being here in this place, but LCC, an established, good pedigree at that number 6 seed. So this could be a really competitive and fun and dynamic game that I think tells a lot about either team that comes out winning. Tommy Morris, your thoughts?
I think Mater Dei, like you said, the big jump from 3 to 1. I think this is one of my favorites to win this whole thing. And between McClure, George, and Buncombe, all over 500 yards receiving, they can spread you out and make it really, really difficult for defense because you really can't key in on any of the receivers because they're all so good. I like Mater Dei here. I like it. Game in the 20s. I think LCC makes it close, but I think Mater Dei ends up pulling it off.
Bodie De Silva, your thoughts?
Yeah, La Costa Canyon, I've seen them a couple of times, and they're definitely playing some of their better football at the right time outside of their game against Carlsbad, who's been rolling through everyone. They've played really good football in the second half of the year. I think, unfortunately for them, they're getting Mater Dei at the wrong time. They seem to have turned things around after their bye, gotten healthy, rolled through league play. But as we've talked about before, playoff time, this is the first ever matchup between the two schools. So fun to see one that you wouldn't normally see scheduled otherwise. So two schools that have been around for a while now. Obviously, Mater Dei was Marion back for much of its existence, but they've never played. So looking forward to this one on Friday.
So from that awesome note of like, hey, we're making history in terms of this first permutation to a game that is like probably on its billionth permutation, and that is Torrey Pines Cathedral Catholic. But it's fun. It's good. It's rivalries. Why not? Torrey 24-0 in that first round over Rancho Bernardo. They are the 7 seed moving on. Cathedral, the number 2 seed, got a bye. Certainly not a signature year for Cathedral Catholic in terms of where the standard has been on the par of the last couple years worth of state and CIF championships. But nonetheless, they still feel like a team that knows how to do the fundamentals of football well enough that you could make a case for them going all the way on through not just this round, but on to the finals. Let's start, though, with you, Bodie De Silva. Your thoughts on Torrey Pines Cathedral Catholic on Friday night?
Yeah, it's definitely a different year for Cathedral than we've seen last year when they've had these state runs. There's been some drop-off after when they've lost so many kids offensively. They're bringing so many through. But I think for them, getting that bye last week, probably getting a little healthier, I think they'll take care of business here. Ultimately, I have 2 other teams in the final, but I think Cathedral can at least get to the semifinal with a win this week.
Tommy Morris, close us out. Tommy?
I didn't do that, I promise.
Hey, Tommy Morris, close us out.
So ironically, these two teams are a stone's throw away from each other, literally, and they don't have any common opponents. So this will be a cool matchup. The battle for Delmar Heights Road. I like Cathedral here. Torrey Pines, congrats on that win last week, but I think Cathedral has something to improve here because I know the season didn't go the way they wanted it to, and they can kind of salvage it by winning a Division I championship. So I like the Dogs.
Make sure everybody to go download Scorebook Live's app, the SB Live Sports app, or visit scorebooklive.com to get all the scores, results, photos, galleries, commentary, everything you need throughout the rest of the playoffs. We're going to go on and make the Open Division video now, and we'll talk to you